And we're back with even more fun awards to give out. What are we doing now? Best PS5 game of 2020? Yeah. Well, there's only a handful of these. This shouldn't take very long.
It's not like the full like meme or like joke that we made the Xbox Series X out of, but there weren't a lot of PS5 games.
No. Anyone want to nominate anything?
Kinda Bug, Kinda Snacks.
No.
Bug Snacks.
Also on
PS4.
Also
on PS4. It looks like it could have run on a PS3.
Could probably run on Switch.
Yeah.
I'm nominating it anyway.
That's fair.
I don't care. I mean, to me, it's the first game I played on my PS5. I waited to play that game so I could break my console's cherry with it. Wow. I think it was made more for PS5 than it was for PS4. I mean,
I reviewed it on PS4. I didn't see any issues with it.
Yeah, but
you did frame rates a little lost at times. But
but my PS4 was just overheating from being a piece of crap. Like I don't have a PS4 Pro. So I guess it did push the hardware in that sense, Greg. But it's not to me. It's not a PS5 game. It's not
pushes the boundaries.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a PS. I don't mean.
It's one of those straddle games.
Maybe I'm willing to give it best PS5 game though at this point.
If it's not a PS5 game, then why did Sony write the very specific sort of guide tips thing for the entire game? Ha!
Whoa!
Stealing our jobs.
Whoa!
Does anyone even use that stuff?
No, but I have looked at it just to see how thorough it is.
It's pretty hard to find. Like, it's not like easy to pull up those things in the game.
I thought so too. When I was trying to mess with the same thing.
We almost need to write a guide for how to find the guides.
How to pull up the guide.
Who guides the guidesman? It's Shacknews.
Bugsnax is great. I'm not hating on Bugsnax at all. I love the game, but I don't. There's a game on PS5 that I think is materially better.
Milf Morales.
Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales.
We gotta stop calling it that. Insomniac's gonna have a cease and desist.
The worst. Come on, the worst thing anybody could say about Miles Morales is it's more Spider-Man. Oh no, more of the 2018 Game of the Year. That's so terrible.
I know.
It is terrible, but
I love Miles.
I like that game. I was referring to Spider-Man 2018 Game of the Year being terrible.
I don't think that at all.
For the PS5, moving on. For the PS5, I think if I'm thinking what I think everyone's thinking, is it David that should make this case?
Destiny.
Wait a minute, we're gonna get David his moment with Demon Souls in a second because
of course
I know he has a lot to say about it.
Someone needs to make a case for Spooder, man.
We're selling Spider-Man short.
Yeah, we are.
I think Donovan and I are here to kind of set everybody straight here. I mean, this in terms of a PS5 launch game, it looks beautiful. The changing of the setting to Harlem makes it look, or at least feel like at least a different setting, a completely different story. It's not more of the Peter Parker story, but it is a lot more of the same web slinging. But a lot of the more annoying stuff that I really didn't like about it, like some of the combat issues and like some of the stupider side missions, like the screwball missions, gone. Plus they added like a lot.
The pigeons were not gone, Ozzy.
Okay, don't mess up my argument here, Krabs.
Don't bring facts into this.
But I really enjoyed Miles Morales for what it was. I love the additions that they made to the combat with the Venom Punch, and I love the way they incorporated that into some of the puzzles. I am actually enjoying this more than I am the 2018 Spider-Man right now, so hopefully it'll stay that way, but I haven't hit the end yet.
I think that it's easy to use that as a criticism that it's just like a diet version of a Spider-Man game, like it's a 0.5 kind of thing. But I think it really benefits from all of like the trimmings of being a 0.5 game, like similar to what David said about The Last of Us Part 2. I think the one criticism I can agree with the Spider-Man 2018 is that it's like got AAA bloat. Like sometimes it feels like it's a big game just because it has to be so that they can ship, and that's evident like screwball missions, and at some points the campaign gets repetitive and the missions and stuff draw on too long. And I think Miles Morales really cuts all of that out. The story's tight, it's a great narrative. Like you said, with the Venom and invisibility stuff, it adds layers to the combat, which is already amazing in the original game. There's more depth to the combat. And then, yeah, of course, it looks beautiful on a PS5 with its two versions, fidelity and performance mode. And I would agree with you, Azra. I think I honestly might enjoy it more than I did the original Spider-Man, but I also have a Miles Morales bias. So,
does Demon Souls have a killer cat? I don't think so.
I'm in the same camp, Don.
Dark Souls does. But I concede your point, Ozzy.
I think you're right, Donovan. That I've had more fun playing Miles Morales Spider-Man than I did the 2018 game.
I appreciate that a lot of the side quests are just like, oh, go there and get the thing. And it's not like some tedious crap that's going to take me like 15 to 20 minutes to get through. It's just like, oh, you're going from point A to point B. Maybe pick up some supplies. Maybe look for another time capsule.
I love the in-game app, too. The friendly neighborhood.
Yes, I like that.
That's
so
a cool,
I wasn't trying to say
mechanic.
that it shouldn't be considered, because I'm actually really enjoying Miles Morales, and I know I've said that a few times, like the music. I really love the music. One of the things that I like about Miles Morales a lot is that I am more interested in the story than the gameplay, to be honest. I don't really care about the gameplay. Like, to be fair, swinging around the city is amazing, so I love that part of the gameplay, but when I start fighting in combat, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just there. But I want to push the story forward, and I don't want to be caught up. I literally put my difficulty setting down to it can't be knocked out. Like, I just can't be knocked out because I have no desire to like fail at it and then do the gameplay again just to push the story forward. I just want to experience the story. I want to swing around the city, so I really appreciated that.
I'm going to push back a little. I think the combat's really good in this game.
Maybe it is.
If you're into it. Yeah, I think Bill's saying like he's just not into the combat, but they gave him the option to.
The amount of
and I appreciate that option being there, and I say that as somebody who plays a lot of other games in easy mode.
I think like in a year where we have a lot of games like this is the way you have to play it. I love how freestyle and free-flowing a battle in Miles Morales is. Like, you can grab a trash can, throw it at a dude's head. You can pick it up another dude, throw him at it. You can steal their gun and throw their gun at it. Like, yes, I guess it gets repetitive. I'll give you that. Like, it's just more bad guys. Oh, these bad guys don't have these weapons. These bad guys do have these weapons. But, like...
Combat's okay, but I think that the statement that the orange juice punch or whatever the fuck it's called adds depth to it. I don't really buy that just because it's the only thing that you've got that defeats the non-basic enemies. It's used in every situation. It's the solution to every single puzzle. It's just like, we added this extra thing and we, it felt like the justification for it being there was just we designed all the puzzles or non-scrub enemies around it.
It ties into the narrative a couple of times too.
I'm not saying it's garbage. It's just I didn't feel like the idea that it made any material change to the way the combat worked in the first one, other than just now there's orange juice flying out your hand.
I mean, what about his stealth abilities though?
I mean, that was all there in the last one. There's nothing to change from the first game.
Well,
I disagree. There's cameouflage that wasn't in the first game.
Yeah, he just doesn't have those abilities in the original game.
I don't play any game on I don't play any game on easy. Like, I can't remember the last time I played a game on easy. I just don't do it. So the fact that I'm doing it here, I don't think that's really a comment to be negative about the combat, because I don't think the combat's bad. It's more so that I've got, like everyone else here, 47 games to play. And I was like, this is a method for me to kind of like get the experience that I need to get of the story. I played the combat for a while on the medium settings or whatever the default settings would be. And then after a while, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to go to the can't be knocked out settings because I want to push this forward and experience it. But I think if I had all the time in the world, I probably never would have dialed the difficulty down.
One negative I would raise about this game is like it's some of the most impressive graphical moments, you're not playing. You're sitting there watching a cutscene.
Well, that's all sorts of games, though.
I know, but it's one of those things where I'm like, the wow moments in this game, rarely am I playing. And that's a negative.
I don't know. That opening where you're riding Rhino is pretty intense.
I agree.
I don't know, man.
agree.
Just swinging around the city is one of the most gorgeous things about this game,
But
and the Spider-Man games in general.
Different than the 2018 version. They did nothing to change the web slinging.
But to sort of
Hell
add
no,
to,
dude! I disagree completely.
before you go there, Blake.
What did they do to change the web slinging mechanic, Blake? I'm really curious.
Oh, dang it.
They added new animations. They added new tricks. They also added the Into the Spider-Verse costume, which is a completely different style of animation than the rest of the freaking game. And it's just awesome to put that suit on and swing around the city. It's a different visual experience. It's a different vibe. Like I completely felt like a different feeling that first time I jumped off a ledge in the Into the Spider-Verse suit as Miles Morales than I did playing the Peter Parker one.
We're devaluing the worth of the word different.
It's an attention to detail thing. Less the mechanic. The mechanic didn't need any refinement because it's already.
That's my point.
It's
it
perfect.
Perfect.
What Blake is getting at is the style, right? Because Miles Morales, he's like a novice Spider-Man, so when he swings, he's not as smooth with it. He jumps off the webs and he wobbles through the air, and he has to catch himself. And he has those moments where, as Peter,
I was doing that a lot in the 2018 game.
That's all true, but it doesn't change the core gameplay.
There's also areas you can zoom through now, like buildings and stuff like that you can like do like a
when you hold down R and L together.
Yeah, that wasn't.
Those are
that
only in
wasn't
2 or
inspiring.
3 scripted sequences. It's not something that's freeform.
Well, it's a technicality, and I'm using it. Damn it.
Also, add that the graphics are. I mean, I guess they're okay. I mostly played in 60 FPS mode just because
Same.
the control is better. But I mean, when you play in that mode, all the graphical enhancements get turned off, and you're back to 2018. And in the enhanced PS5 mode, there's a lot more stutters, and I mean, I guess I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah,
I wasn't impressed with
haven't
the
had any
gameplay
stutters.
footage of it in the in the
The
fidelity.
cutscenes are stutter city in the fidelity mode.
Yeah, it's just if you're gonna give me an option to play a game at 60 FPS, I'm always going to take that option.
Yeah,
It's
Combat
it's
is miles better. It's 60, no pun intended.
Miles Morales better?
I can say that playing most games on PC now, that I actually can get kind of ill for about the first hour that I go to a 30 FPS game.
Yeah,
If I don't have something over 30, it can take me a minute. I actually get a little bit nauseous. So it works itself out, but yeah, if you've got that 60 option, it's got to work. You can't put it in there and then have performance tank.
I think that's just growing pains of the console itself.
It's 2020.
I know, but we're gonna see PS5 games that take better advantage of that, down the line.
It took almost the entire PS4 generation to get a game of quality of The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not saying it's fun or whatever, but I'm saying just the tech behind it.
This does make me really excited to see what they do for a potential true sequel to Spider-Man 2018.
Yes.
Y'all want to
you know
talk
what I
about
want?
a game that takes... go ahead.
Into the Spider-Verse, the game.
That would be fun.
That's what I want.
Y'all want to take
thing I
advantage
thought
of...
was really nice about MILF Morales, other than Mrs. Morales, was I like the way that the licensed music was used throughout the campaign. It was
We didn't even talk
well
about the
done
music.
and than the previous game, and just the vibe around town. It felt more cohesive and real.
I think that was the point that I was very ineloquently trying to express on that in my opening ramble. Is that it makes it feel tangibly different than the first Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I mean, I added that soundtrack to my Apple Music last week, and a lot of those Lecrae songs that they put in there, it's very well used. Even when he dives off a building and the hip hop beat kicks in, and you can hear it building up as he plummets down. It's very cool.
And it makes Miles feel and this is going even beyond video games. It makes Miles feel like a very different character than Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Y'all want to talk about a game that takes advantage of some new technological toys?
What is that game, TJ?
Hold on a second. The whole Peter Parker's on vacation storyline is kind of dumb.
No, I get that. You have to write him out somehow.
Peter Parker is a loser simp.
Well, no, because if they don't do that, then every mission someone's gonna be like, "Where's Spider-Man?"
I know.
They are where's Spider-Man? At least at the beginning.
I just had to bring that up. I was like,
it's silly. It's silly, but that's the most comic book thing ever, though. Right?
I agree. I'm oh, okay, he's on vacation in France.
I actually liked at the beginning of the game. They're like, well, where's the real Spider-Man? I didn't sign up for Kid Spider-Man.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that stuff's great, but I just thought, I don't know. This is kind of dumb, but whatever.
Go ahead,
How
DJ.
bad of an uncle is he that he can't recognize his own nephew's voice? to his suit.
Spoilers.
Come on,
he
man.
does.
Yeah, I was
Greg,
gonna say
Spoilers.
he does. Yeah, spoilers. He does.
Greg, I legitimately couldn't even. Yeah, I can't name most of my family, so it's not that weird.
Jesus.
Did we talk about how great Spider-Man the cat is?
We did. I tried to make this argument in Best Pet.
No.
Spider-Man.
I played through that scene, not even close to Best Pet. See at the
Come on. That's because you don't like cats, Austin.
It is
I don't
above
like
and beyond.
cats.
I don't even like cats, and it's above and beyond the best cat or pet in a video game.
Y'all voted for a pet that you shoot out of a cannon into the sea.
We're getting off the rails here. but
Yeah, anyway.
I'll address it later.
Let's get back on the rails.
Was there any other games that David
TJ's been
did
trying to
you
give us
anything?
something for a minute there.
Yeah, TJ, I really feel like you can get to the heart and soul of this topic. Why don't you let me know that in mind?
The time is 2009. Games suck, but then games good. Demon Souls is born, ushering in a new age of difficult, unholy, hard, and punishing that will resound throughout gaming history for the rest of yore.
You
And
know
then in
what?
2020, they made a better version of it.
Mm,
It really is.
It has ray tracing now.
mm,
It
doesn't.
does.
It doesn't, Greg.
Oh,
So,
it doesn't? Oh, shit.
No.
So Demon Souls was obviously it's the reason I spent an exorbitant amount of money on a bundle with a bunch of stuff I didn't want because it's the only PS5 I could pre-order. So damn it, I did. I think this is just a fantastic remake that philosophically isn't quite the way I would go. But if you're talking about a showpiece, you invite your friends over, not this year, but eventually to show them your PS5, and you say, here, look at what graphics have become. Look at how smooth this game is. Demon Souls just does that for me. I use photo mode so often just to zoom in and check out the details, like the scuff marks and cracks on walls, the detail on the armor, the fact that there are actual facial animations for characters in this game now that respond to situations accordingly, like this look of like bright light blinding intensity when you fire a spell. I also think that even though Demon Souls retained, or I should say Bluepoint retained a lot of Demon Souls rough edges, there have been a lot of quality of life improvements. There is no disparity between going from a cutscene to gameplay and vice versa. The game is just gorgeous. I haven't even looked at the 4K mode because I don't want to play in 30 frames per second. It's actually, this Demon Souls, the Souls games in general have always made a good case for why higher frame rate is better. Things like parrying are just easier to pull off when you have that smoothness. Demon Souls is just visually stunning, and I love the feel of it. That's something I do think that is improved. The original Demon Souls was kind of floaty, especially with fall damage. It was really gauged to tell. It was really hard to gauge what falls would kill you in the original because you just kind of almost looked like you were jumping around on the moon and you'd either survive or you just go splat. I love the handling and the feel of the physics in this game. There's a lot of power behind it. Souls games, I think with the exception of 2, have always had ragdoll physics, which I actually think is kind of funny. Perhaps unintentionally, it's a little bit of lighthearted moment to take this red-eyed knight who kicked your ass for the past hour and just kind of like kick him around like he's a piece of paper on the street. But now when you have a sword like the Dragon Bone Smasher, which is like as much of an anime sword as Cloud's big old chunky thing, just swinging and like sending enemies flying is really much cooler than the canned death animations that kind of prevailed on the PS5.
There is some wonderful ragdoll in this game.
It's awesome. You just feel so much powerful. Another little thing that I like is when you're far away and you hit someone with magic, they'll often just collapse. But up close, anything you destroy with magic, be it something living or actors and debris around the world, like crates and vases, just kind of disappears. It's like you completely
Disintegrate it.
just disintegrates. It's like you just kind of blasted it out of existence. It reminds me of Balefire in Wheel of Time.
I never feel powerful in that game, ever.
It's
Well,
a
you
nice
won't
get
little
by by the
series
skin of
to
my
catch
teeth
up to
every
Doom
time.
3 technology of disappearing in-game items.
Yeah, and it's just something that it never did before, but I think it's a nice little touch that it just kind of makes magic feel cooler and adds an element of power to it. I know that Chris can speak more to the technical analysis. I think he's a fan of the gameplay as well, but I know TJ reviewed this and had a lot to say about it as well.
Yeah, like for as much as I bag on it for keeping things the way that they were, that I feel
which
they
is
should've-
more Blue Point than anything else. But
I do have to ask you a question later because it's something that came up since we've been talking about it. Actually, I'll go ahead and ask it now. How do you feel about the fact that you can essentially like artificially pause the game with photo mode?
I'm fine with it. I think that photo mode is just kind of the it's going to be a thing. It started last gen, and it's going to be bigger this gen. But like, I like that they know the concession they made, that people won't always want to pause. But if someone's invading you, you get a warning like, "Hey, you better unpause because you're about to get fucked up." I think I'm fine with it. It's something that you can choose not to use or not. It's very in line with what Bluepoint does. Like, they have all sorts of cool little filters that are cool and independent of Souls games. Like, TJ and I were talking about how he always likes to wear or not wear helmets because you want to see your character's face.
Yes, that was one of the quality of life improvements that I was really happy that they put into this game, is that you can actually like turn off a switch that makes it so that even though you have a helmet equipped, it makes the helmet disappear.
Yeah,
Which,
so like Asif, if Asif were in my game, he'd see it. But I don't have this big helmet blocking my view or like kind of ruining my view of like my character's awesome face that I spend an inordinate amount of time customizing in the character creator.
I spent a stupid amount of time on character creation, and this game, they did a really good job updating the character creation.
It's excellent.
It's so excellent, and like it's actually like I think Demon Souls fans of the originals really appreciate this because if you played that game or want to go back and look at it, like it had the ugliest fucking characters. Like you had to work really hard to make even a semi passable looking character in that game, and it improved. But Demon Souls remakes character creators an order of magnitude better. Like I normally don't spend a lot of time on it because I'm normally just like a walking piece of a suit of armor anyway. But this time I did, just to see the depth they go to. Like this is pretty impressive just outside of Souls games as far as character creators
It
go.
almost rivals PGA 2K21 when it comes to character creation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just think like as far as performance, as far as visual fidelity, as far as art direction, as far as just fun with the game, I understand that this game, especially out of all Souls games, can be very polarizing. Asif, you and I talked about how you kind of clicked with Dark Souls right away. It is, Greg. You just have to spend some more time with it. That's what these games ask. Like they demand time. You're not going to pick this up in 5 or 10 minutes. There are plenty of other games that do that.
What I realized during my playthrough, I still kind of hate the game, but what I like about it is it's an old school game. Even in 2009, it was old school. In how difficult it is, how it rewards memorization, how
patience.
And I see a corollary from this game to Super Mario Maker and Super Mario Maker 2. Specifically my levels. I tend to make levels that you have to play more than once to beat, and they're challenging, and Greg sucks at them. So it's very similar to Demon Souls.
But at least in Mario Maker, when I die, I can instantly start and like within seconds try again. With Demon Souls, you have to fight through trash to get to that point again.
But that's also
not
point,
true.
Right? Like in Asif's levels, like he goes against checkpoints. So if you
yeah,
die in
I'm
Mario
against
Maker
checkpoints. Yeah.
Well, that's
at the
just you
beginning.
though.
That's
Also-
not just me. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of creators,
there's a
dude.
lot of people who make super expert levels, and they call it super expert level designers because it's hard, right? Like you're making a difficult thing, and I feel that's true of Demon Souls. Where I think that they're very similar is once you figure out the best path, it doesn't become easier, but because you know what you're doing, you're better equipped for it. And I think it's
muscle memory.
Yeah, and I think the comparison to a Mario level is very apt in that sense, because especially mine, because I make very evil, dubious, horrible things that happen to you that are unexpected, and I think that Demon Souls does a great job of that, where if the first time you're playing through that area, you don't know that there's that person hiding behind the door, or you don't know there's a person that's in that other corner of the room. But by the time you've actually given the time to the game that is required, it becomes a lot easier. And I don't think that it's like, I think that it gets painted as this really hard game.
It's really overblown, which is
I
too
don't
bad
think
because
that's true.
it scares people away.
I don't
I've
think
always
it's
kind
true that it's like super
Yeah.
hard. I
It's
think
not.
that it just requires repetition and it requires memorization.
I also think it like okay. I also think that it depends a little bit like on the I do believe that there's something to be said for the class that you choose to play in this game, the way in which you approach the game, and how much you're willing to play it honorably versus how much you're willing to cheese the game as much as it cheeses you. Like I stand by that because like that's like the whole philosophy of like I mean, that's like a part of the philosophy of speedrunning throughout this whole series is how can I cheese the shit out of this game to make it from point A to point B in the most efficient and death-free way possible.
Yeah, but cheesing it requires that same level of memorization, if not even more.
Like understanding the mechanics, understanding things I mentioned before, like that sometimes enemies can hit you through walls. You can't hit them through walls, but you can hit their limbs after they come through the wall at you. That's like just something you learn from like being cheesed by this game and realizing you can cheese it back.
Yeah, and I think to TJ's point, but more so to Osif's, this past weekend, a bunch of Souls streamers did speedruns of the game where they had 3 hours to do as many runs as they wanted and could record their best time. They were raising money for a children's charity. But the condition was that it had to be a glitchless run, and you couldn't save and quit, which is something a lot of veteran Souls players do. Like when I fall, I know the exact button combination to save and quit so that I can reload to where I'm standing on the ledge where I fell and try again. Which, TJ, to your point, I feel like being able to save and quit anywhere and pick up where you left off is sort of analogous to pausing with photo mode. But it just, the fact that like if you watch someone like Lobos or Distortion 2 or me, because I'm working on it myself, do a glitchless run and beat this game in under an hour, it really shows that it is about memorization, but it's also about execution. Like you can know, I need to skirt around this guy and grab this item, but part of that is the satisfaction you feel with from implementing a plan and putting it into effect and knowing that you did that.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's really like these games, no game I've played has rewarded me as much as like these games, and it started with Demon's Souls.
I agree that it's skill that plays into the memorization, and that's why I keep comparing it to like a Mario run.
Yeah, no, I'm right with you because I was thinking like with your levels in particular, I think like okay, I need to do this, but can I do this? And pulling it off feels really, really good. So yeah, there's definitely
there's a similar feeling of reward I think when you complete a level or a boss in Demon's Souls with like completing a level in a Mario.
Yeah, I haven't fired up my Demon's Souls playthrough yet, but I can tell you I've watched, I would say 20 hours now. I don't know, David, if you've ever heard of the Maximilian dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I've watched him play it, and I love watching him play it. But something you said just spoke to me, which when you're talking about like trying to beat the game in, or a part of the game, I'm not sure exactly what you said, but like in under an hour by forming like this plan and also using skill, that to me is like, that's a selling point for me right there. Because if you can play the game and just experience the game as it comes to you, but then your replay value is, but now I have this goal that I'm able to like set and achieve within the game. And that reminds me very, very much of the most recent Hitman games. Like you can just kind of wander through and you can beat them, but then what I do is I'm going back to try to perfect that plan and pull off the specific circumstances. And that really draws out the replay value. So that makes me want to jump into my own playthrough even more, just knowing that that kind of thing is like available.
From the types of games you like and the way you approach them, I think you would like this game. And
I think so too. It's just a daunting game.
It's very daunting, but like to Asif's point, like a lot of that gets overblown to the point where people who might like it shy away from it because they hear all about, oh, it's so punishing and you're gonna hate yourself, and they're like, well, why would I pay $60 to hate myself? And it's like, well, you won't. You just have to spend this. The original Demon's Souls came at a time for me when I was kind of feeling a little disenfranchised with games. I'd been covering from them for a while, developing them, working at companies like EA at the time for a while. I was just like, man, everything is kind of easy mode now. I don't miss cheap games, but I miss games that like rewarded my time investment. And this game did that then, and it does it now. It's a much more crowded field now, but there's still something special about that first Souls game. There's a reason this game was chosen for a remake, and I do think it has been so far.
Yeah, because Sony had the rights.
Well, yeah, Sony had the rights, and they wanted to redeem themselves because they passed this up before and kicked themselves because Bandai Namco made money hand over fist with Dark Souls trilogy.
Yeah.
But also, like, the cool thing is, like, when Miyazaki announced that Dark Souls 3 would be the last of those, at least for the foreseeable future, I was actually glad, because I felt like with every game, as many mechanics as they made, they were also getting easier, because it was like riding a bike, but with a different paint job. Demon Souls takes me back to the beginning of the franchise, where it really didn't give you much quarter. It didn't offer much compromise, and you had to figure out how to do this kind of on your own, but yet not completely on your own. Like, this was a game where, and it's still happening, and I think it will happen more once more people get PS5s, where you can talk with the chatty community, you can go on Reddit, you can go on YouTube, you can just look at the messages for indications of what's coming. The messages themselves have their own vernacular where people start making in-jokes. Some of them definitely not appropriate to share in this video, but these games are a lot of fun, and they have their own kind of vernacular. Yeah, I don't know. Like, this is just, it's been a lot of fun for me. It's the reason I bought a PS5, and I have not been disappointed.
I'd like to jump in that, I mean, being one of the 2 PS5 games, this will be the one I vote for, but I was still kind of let down by some of the tech and graphics stuff, because this has been marketed as exclusive, and there's nothing here that the PS4 couldn't do. And all respect due to David, but he's been a victim of abuse for years, and that these games always look like garbage, at least 6 to 7 years old when they come out. And
it did.
Even if you like the art style or whatever, like, they always look like dried up butthole.
I mean,
they finally made one now that is at least up to somewhat modern standards, which is appreciable and it runs smooth, and I like that. But
the Dragon God fight in Demon Souls remake is so good visually.
Yeah, they've caught up to modern standards, which is nice, but it's not like this next gen experience or that's anything. I mean,
it's a launch title.
It's a launch title, but it's a launch title that's been blown out of the water by stuff that came out years ago. So,
but, like, if you look at the PS5 launch lineup.
Well, yeah, compared to its own super lackluster launch lineup. Yeah,
I mean, it's no Armored Core.
Well, so here's the thing, Chris. I think you have a valid point, but we are talking about the best PS5 game. So.
Yeah.
Oh, I understand. I'm just saying that, you know, I guess I took slight issue with it. This is some sort of, you know, showcase for graphics
game.
Or whatever.
I think it's the showcase for graphics on the PS5
it's a showcase,
right now.
It's a showcase for graphics in the Soul series, but I mean,
it's still one of the best looking PS5 games right now.
It's one of the 2 PS5 games, so yeah, it is one of the best looking.
I mean, like, I would say that NBA 2K21 is probably some of the best graphics I've seen on anything right now.
Also, I was assuming that it ran 4K 60, and David, it does not. It runs 1080 60 or 4K 30.
1080 60, 4K 30.
Wow, that marketing for those systems are fucking so overblown.
Yeah, the box of my PS5 box says 8K on it, Greg.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, the marketing people should be fired. They that's why, dude, every day people are on your Spider-Man or the Demon Souls video, Chris, and they're like, mine doesn't do 4K 60, and it's like, why would you think it does? Because it literally says so on the fucking box. 8K 60.
Also, I can't understate like how nice it is to not have loading screens throughout most of this game. It's literally just like, here's some fog, wipe, you're there.
That's another thing to Greg's point. Like, loading time has been a bear in these games almost since I would say since I played Dark Souls 2 Scholar the first time on PS4, and then especially these games on PC. But, like, you know, dying and then having to wait for a loading screen is not a thing.
Fester in your sins.
Yeah, exactly. I almost like, oh man, remember the loading screens where they would tell you, like, show you items and give you bits of lore? Not anymore. No more loading. Just get back to it. And I really like it.
Yeah, I really appreciate Sony for inventing solid state drives in 2020. That was huge.
I just like the fact that, like, it actually does for a game like Demon Souls. it takes the sting out of death to not have to sit there and stew over it for like a good 5 minutes.
Oh, I still throw my controller and stew over it and text David, and I'm like, this game sucks. Like every time I die, I'm like, David, why? This is like, I don't know. You have to
just instant microwave stew versus slow and slow stew.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, like here's the thing. I think that like SSDs have been around for a while, but like, you know, these are the first consoles to launch standard with them, and they're using them really fucking well. And I think a Souls game is the perfect test case for that, because loading
you're never gonna hear me argue about putting your OS on an SSD, especially an M2.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at them for doing that, but like we can't act like Bluepoint did anything here. It's just the hardware. And yes, this game showcases that element of the hardware.
Compared to previous From Software produced Souls games, Bluepoint did do some stuff here.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
I mean,
Bloodborne's loading was so bad.
It's so much nicer.
No, but I'm saying from a loading standpoint, that's the hard.
I mean, yeah, Dark Souls 3 doesn't have loading on PC, so I mean, yeah, it's been done before, but that's, you know, hardware.
Like what we're talking about here, like the loading on the PS5, that's going to be something you see universally better.
I'm not claiming Bluepoint did that. I'm saying it's an element of this game which is on PS5, which
showcases the system. Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that it's what you're saying is going to be unique. Not just to this game, it's going to be unique to the whole system. Yeah. Because when I load Miles Morales, I'm like, damn, that loaded pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, stuff
this
like
even
that
applies to old games, right? Like I made the flip from NHL 21 on PS4 to PS5, and it's night and day in loading. So that's just the system.
Ghost of Tsushima does really good with it too.
Yeah,
it does.
Like
I'm playing
Rocket
it
League on this PS5, and it loads faster.
Oh yeah,
it
runs a lot smoother.
From a 2003 hard drive to a 2010 one.
Yeah, no, like Rocket League runs incredibly smooth on my PS5. Even when I'm doing split screen with my friend Aspen, like when she comes over, like no frame drops or anything like that. It's gorgeous and a lot more faster.
So that's all I'm saying is that the hardware of the PS5 is pretty impressive in that sense.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just saying the Souls benefits from it because like normally you sit there like I'm kind of ready to try again, but now it's taking like 90 seconds.
A good example is Dark Souls remastered on Switch. Like that.
Oh yeah.
Painful
that was
loading.
Yeah.
And the game is painful to play on that system.
Yeah.
Do we have any other nominations here?
Can I nominate Ghost of Tsushima?
No.
Oh, then no. Then no.
I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Astro's Playroom.
That's fine. I like the music a lot. It's a good way to like figure out all the functions of the new DualSense controller.
It's a great showpiece for the system, and it's like if you're a PS fan. No, I agree. It made me waggle. I'll never forget. But like, it harkens back to a day when Nintendo used to give you a game with your system. You know, like there'd be a pack-in Mario game or something. I thought it was charming. I like the music in it. I think it does a good job of celebrating the history of PlayStation consoles. So I just want to nominate it, but really I don't think it has a chance. It's not really a full game. But
no, like it's much more than it's fleshed out to the point where I would like to see a full game. You know? I think
Astro's Playroom for PSVR is actually a full game, and it's pretty fun.
Okay, cool.
So I would recommend people trying that out on PS4 and PSVR. But if Astro is going to be this like new experimental IP for them, I'm here for it. I really enjoy those games. Are there any other nominations?
I will say I like Astro as a potential mascot for them better than Sackboy at the moment.
Or Kratos at this point.
Oh, come on. Just because Kratos is in Fortnite doing...
Yes, because whatever the hell that was. And no. Yeah, the whole dad bod.
You can make him dab.
The dad bod, Kratos dabbing.
He takes the head with him. That's such an awesome attention to detail, but I'm getting off track. Let's vote.
Okay, so we ready to vote?
Oui.
Spider-Man.
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Demon Souls.
Bug Snacks. Oh, air horn. Whoop, whoop.
Demon
Bugsnax.
Souls.
I think
Josh, was that Demon Souls?
I think you
Yeah.
said Bug Snacks. I think it sounded like Demon Souls.
I hated Bug Snacks, so I definitely didn't say Bug Snacks.
You hated
What?
Bugsnax?
Yep, I didn't like it.
Don't say it,
know
Josh. No,
that's
you're gonna get torn
appropriate.
apart. Oh,
Oh, we're gonna have it for a while.
It doesn't even run 4K on PS5.
Okay.
Oh, that must make it a shitty game then.
No, that's not the reason.
Well, then what are you talking about it for?
Just tossing facts.
Just tossing facts. All right,
Donovan.
Let's just keep the vote going. We could. This is
Spider-Man.
gonna get crazy.
Boods. TJ.
Spooderman.
Demon Souls with honorable mention for Fortnite on PS5 for making Kratos damp.
Sam would vote for Demon Souls here.
He would 100%.
Steve.
C word.
I'll vote for Demon Souls also.
Yeah. You voted for Ozzy, you voted for Spoods, right?
Yes.
Dad Ozzy.
Greg.
I think that games like should showcase what the console can do, and I think Dark Souls does that better than, or Demon Souls does that better than whatever it's called, than Miles Morales.
Oh, jeez. You don't even know what the game's called, Greg.
Dark Souls,
Greg.
Demon Souls. It's
No, do not say they're the same thing, or you'll set David off.
You haven't pronounced a game title or character in a game name yet correctly today.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So we have 2 votes for Spooderman, 1 vote for Bugsnax, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 votes for Demon Souls.
It's kind of.
Demon Souls is kind of demon, kind of souls. Right?
It wins.
And it wins. It is it. Come on, it's the best PS5 game of 2020. There's nothing you can do about it, Blake.
I know.